The Lonely Prince, Chapter 1, Part 2. The stacks of paperwork on his desk were enormous, and even though she knew she shouldn't do it, she started to look through what he was working on, hoping for an inkling of the friendship problem he was going to ask her to solve. Huffing through them, she saw a half-finished letter to Rarity which appeared to be the start of some sort of apology for his behavior at the Grand Galloping Gala.
Help with writing an apology sounds like a friendship problem I could solve. That's promising.
Looking over another stack of close to 30 letters he had recently received, Twilight froze as she read through them and saw that every single one of them was a marriage proposal to Blue Blood, all in the form of traditional unicorn noble arranged marriages. And the other stack was apparently his attempts to reply to them. She couldn't bring herself to read what he wrote in reply to any of the proposals. Her heart couldn't take it.
No. Am I too late? Did I wait too long? Am I going to lose him too?
Twilight just barely managed to avoid a panic attack as she walked away from the desk and went deeper into the cavernous room. Turning a corner, she was suddenly in the sleeping area of the room, with a king-sized bed that rivaled the one in Celestia's own quarters. Twilight's breath caught in her throat as she saw Blue Blood asleep on the bed, bathed in a warm afternoon light flowing in from an open window. The rays of light seemed to highlight his golden blonde mane, and his coat shined a radiant white that was almost a perfect match to Celestia's. Twilight had to blink back tears as she realized for the first time just how handsome Blue Blood really was, and how much time she had lost over being uncouth and being unwilling to fix it.
How long was he waiting for me? How long has he been asleep? Should I wake him for the meeting he wanted to have, or should I leave until he summons me again? Or will he even bother to summon me again if he thinks I blew off the meeting with him?
She took 2 steps forward, and then a step back as her ears folded back.
Waking him up seems like a bad idea. If he was tired enough to justify an afternoon nap and as badly as I want to cuddle with him, I can't just get in bed with him.
Twilight frowned at that thought.
Wait, why can't I? I defeated Nightmare Moon, Discord, Queen Chrysalis, and helped take down King Sombra. We were friends once, and I know if I asked him politely, we could be friends again.
Her mind returns to all those marriage proposals.
Fuck it, I'm out of time. I wanted another chance, so I'm going to have to prove it.
Twilight steeled herself for a rebuke as she climbed into the bed beside the prince. Just like when she was a foal, she wrapped herself around him like a blanket and nuzzled into him, using him as a pillow. She felt him stir and was worried that she had woken him up, only for her to barely hold in an eep when Blue Blood wrapped both of his forehooves around her and pulled her in closer to him. He nuzzled into her deeper, using her as a blanket, just like that one time. With a deep sigh, she smiled.
I'm gonna take a nap. The repercussions from my actions is a problem for future Twilights.
Blue Blood sighed in contentment. He had desperately needed a nap after trying to deal with all those dreadful letters, and somehow he had found the warmest blanket ever. Even better, it smelled like Twilight Sparkle. She used a lavender-scented soap or perfume, and it smelled simply divine. He had always liked the fact that she smelled like a flower that matched the color of her coat. It was something that a noble lady would have done. He hummed to himself in thought. Twilight never knew that I redoubled my efforts in school because of how she scolded me. Auntie would have never scolded me like that, and I'm a better pony because Twilight made me want to try. Made me want to succeed. Made me want to earn the right to cuddle her again. I don't know why she never really spoke to me again. Maybe I'm still unworthy of her? Even to this very day. I mean, she is the element of magic. How could a mere prince compete with that? With a yawn, he opened his eyes. His eyes drifted to the window, revealing that it was much later in the day than he had planned. I don't see how I overslept so badly. What happened that... Oh. Oh! Looking down, he saw Twilight Sparkle held tightly in his hooves. His eyes widened as he held her tighter subconsciously. Is this a dream? If so, I never want to wake up from it. He leaned down and kissed her cheek, watching her stir awake. Her eyes fluttered in an attractive way, although probably unintentional with her just waking up. It still called to Blue Blood's soul.
Was there ever a pony more beautiful than Twilight Sparkle?
Blue Blood cleared his throat gently.
Did you sleep well, my lady?
Twilight blushed deeply.
Very well, your highness. Did you enjoy the cuddling?
Blue Blood felt a knot in his throat, but he had to speak.
More than you will ever know.
A silence passed between them, and Twilight knew it was her turn to speak.
Well, then, why didn't you ask me to cuddle you sooner?
Blue Blood blushed.
Oh, after you scolded me over having fallen asleep in class that one time, I redoubled my efforts to be a student that you respected. I was hoping that you would ask me to cuddle you again once I was worthy of you. But I guess I never was.
Twilight winced.
Oh, it wasn't my place to scold you, and I always felt like you were mad at me for doing so. I was waiting for you to forgive me, and then ask me to cuddle with you.
Blue Blood sighed.
Oh, so we were both waiting for the other to make the first move. It would be funny if it wasn't so tragic.
Twilight winced again, but smiled.
So we lost some time. We can still start again, right?
Blue Blood held her tighter, but didn't say anything. Twilight trembled in her hooves.
What was the friendship problem you needed help with?
Blue Blood sighed, loosening his grip on her.
Oh, I need your help in preparing me to propose to the mare that is going to be my wife, and become a princess of Equestria. Will you help me?
Twilight froze. She couldn't think. She couldn't even breathe. She gasped, but then clamped down on her own uncouth outburst. She cleared her throat and tried to keep an even tone.
This sounds more like a Princess of Love problem. Maybe you should write to Cadence?
Blue Blood nuzzled her neck, whispering into her ear.
Under normal circumstances, you would be correct. However, Cadence will need time to firmly establish her rule. She probably won't leave the Empire for anything, at least for the next 6 months. And while letters might walk me through this process, I really need a mare like you to be with me and help me directly. You see, I need to practice changing my mannerisms, and that practice requires me to have a mare to practice with. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. I need a change. At least a little.
Twilight nodded, but also frowned.
Change what exactly? I think you're okay.
Blue Blood snorted.
Okay isn't good enough. I don't want my wife calling me by my title or saying Your Highness. No. I want to be able to use pet names for her, and have her use pet names for me. I want to be able to spend time with commoners as if I always had. I want to be the perfect stallion for the perfect mare, and you, of all mares, are the best there is for teaching me how to do that.
Twilight pursed her lips.
The mare you plan to marry is a commoner.
He winced, and she could feel it through his hold on her. He had nearly said too much.
The mare is a countess, but she has a lot of commoner friends. I want to be able to mingle with them without it being awkward for every pony.
He paused, then continued.
It's okay if you don't want to help, I understand.
Twilight shuddered, but also shouted.
No, I can help you. What do we do first?
Blue Blood grinned, while he pulled her closer and kissed her cheek in a move that shocked Twilight.
It's dinner time. Let's go to the dining hall. We'll walk together and speak about normal things. We'll both try to throw in some pet names towards each other, and let's just get used to hearing it out loud and in public. This might sound odd, but for the sake of the process, I'd like to pretend that it's you that I'm getting married to.
Twilight giggled.
That kind of sounds like fun. Almost like a prank on a larger scale, but there'll be rumors and gossip if we do that.
Blue Blood shook his head.
There will be rumors and gossip regardless. If the Countess gets jealous enough, maybe she'll propose to me and make this easier on me.
Twilight frowns a little.
But what if she refuses your proposal completely due to you flirting with me?
He sighed.
Then she wasn't the mare I thought she was. Either way, it will serve a purpose. Shall we be off, my dearest?
Twilight leaned back into his grasp and returned his kiss on the cheek.
After you, my beloved.
I know what that guy's doing, that slick little bugger. Anywho, let's get on to our charming donators. Top donators: Jessie Smith, Zar630, BadassWaffle, Onlyonething, Ceru Orion, and Caladis. Matchvic, Jock, Luciisu, Darkside, Rayden, Runescythe, Will, Twinkie, Luigi, Chancellor, Crust, Big Smoke, Murder Princess, LILmighty, Solar Symphony, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.